Hi guys, and welcome to this weekly horoscope. This one is for Monday the 9th of May going through until Sunday the 15th of May 2022. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to go through each day this week to see what the planets are doing, what energy they create amongst themselves, and how you can, first of all, how you're going to be influenced by it, but then secondly, how you can use that to your advantage. It looks like a pretty intense week to me. We've also got a lunar eclipse happening, which is a full moon in Scorpio. That happens next week on Monday the 16th if you're in Europe. If you're west of Europe, then it happens late in the evening on Sunday the 15th of May. I'll make a separate video to go into more detail, but it is a full moon in Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign, which is about uncovering hidden secrets and getting there through the emotions. So it's an intense inner process. And this whole week is kind of a build up to that. Eclipses also are important because the process of the full moon or the new moon is interrupted, and it means that the energy kind of lingers for 6 months. So it's an intense kind of moment. So let's have a look at what this week is all about then. So starting with Monday the 9th of May, we've got the moon in Leo, and this moon in Leo seems a little bit more sensitive than it usually would. The moon is how you feel and what comes naturally, and Leo is about the height of summer, and it's about having a good time and being in the spotlight and enjoying yourself. But it opposes Saturn in Aquarius here on Monday. And in opposition is when two planets are 180 degrees away from one another. Saturn is an outer planet, and it's about structure and security and the things that kind of determine what kind of life you're going to live. And this opposition, it's almost like David and Goliath, this poor little moon against this major force, because it's in Aquarius. Aquarius is about society and the way people think and what's accepted and what the norm is and what the majority finds good and valuable. And the Leo moon is like, well, this is how I have fun. So there's a major opposition between those two. So you may feel a little bit put upon, like things are coming at you from different directions and it's a bit much. The Leo moon also quincunxes Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces. So the two outer planets of hopes and dreams and intuition and good luck and good fortune. And with those two being in Pisces, there's a desire to kind of escape into fantasy land and to say, oh, this is too difficult. Let me just go within or read a book or zone out for a little bit in order to maintain a sense of well-being here. And obviously that's not very productive. If you just kind of zone out and daydream, then you're not going to get a lot done. And the Leo moon also quincunxes Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto's about transformation and change, and Capricorn's the sign of the worker. So there is the ability to work at something in order to transform it so that it makes more sense for you and that it's more enjoyable for you. But with all these other things going on, you may feel a little bit intimidated and it's like, oh, let me just kind of keep things quiet and maintain the status quo here instead of pursuing what I want. So that's the push and pull of Monday, I feel. So with all of that going on, you may feel really flat on Monday and you may find it difficult to get going or motivated. And it seems like you're fighting an uphill battle here. It's just never ending and it's difficult. So retreating into kind of the realms of imagination isn't ideal, but on Monday it's actually going to be quite useful because that going within and kind of contemplating what could be, that's going to show you alternative options or solutions to what's going on, and how you can continue to make progress in other ways. So your higher self, your intuition is really helping you through what feels like a maze of criticism and other people's opinions and instructions coming at you from all different directions. On Monday, being in nature, particularly around water, that's going to feel nurturing and like you're landing again on planet Earth and things are kind of decompressing. So if you feel like you need to relax a little bit, taking a walk or going for a swim or something will work really nicely. On Tuesday, the 10th of May, we've got the moon going into Virgo at 12:53 in the morning. The moon in Virgo is much more serious than the moon in Leo. The moon in Leo, like I said, is about playtime. In Virgo, it's about let's get prepared for winter and let's get things organized. It's an earth sign, so it's very good at dealing with information, making sense of things, sorting the good from the bad, so being judgmental in a practical, useful way. The Virgo moon then squares Mercury, its ruler, the communication planet, which sits in Gemini. So Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. When Mercury is in Virgo, it's about learning and listening and getting stuff in. When it's in Gemini, it's about expressing yourself and sharing these opinions that you've cultivated. So there's a lot of focus here on communication and the exchange of ideas. The Virgo moon also quincunxes Venus and Chiron in Aries. So Venus is the planet of love and beauty and creativity, and Chiron is the wounded healer. So both of those are urging you to take action, to become creative, or to do things for yourself. And it also trines Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is about eccentricity and lightning strikes and eureka moments and things being shaken up a bit. And in Taurus, it means that your circumstances don't seem as serious or as rigid as they have done on Monday. So the pressure eases off a little bit. The interesting thing about Tuesday is that Mercury, the communication planet, then goes retrograde until the 3rd of June. Mercury goes retrograde a few times a year, 3 or 4 times a year, and it's a period where communication just becomes more of a headache, more of an issue. Like the emails don't get delivered, or the computer doesn't show or it doesn't turn on or something. Flights are delayed, luggage gets lost. You miss the fine print in a contract that you're signing or working on. So with Mercury going retrograde, it's very important to check what is being said and to make sure that things are accurate and that every party involved has understood what's going on, because it's easy to get the wrong end of the stick. So it's interesting that this happens while the moon is in Virgo, because the Virgo moon gives you kind of it eases you into this Mercury retrograde. Because like I said, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, with your feelings being focused on information and accuracy. It kind of means that you have a little bit of momentum going into this Mercury retrograde. And here on Tuesday and Wednesday even, I would say you're still able to suss things out quite nicely. With Mercury being in Gemini as well, I think this is kind of a big deal as far as Mercury retrogrades are concerned. Because let's say Mercury is in Taurus, then it's about expressing yourself in an earthy, practical way, right? If Mercury is in Sagittarius, it's thinking about education and academia and travel and what could be. When Mercury is in Gemini, it's in its own sign. It's the ability to use your voice, to express what it is you want to share. And with it going retrograde, so it appears to be going backwards, in Gemini, it really takes away from your power to articulate and to see things clearly and to say exactly what it is you mean. So what I think during this retrograde, what's going to be very helpful is if you're doing stand-up comedy, or if you're doing presentations, or you're writing emails or job offers or anything like that, it's particularly the content that you're generating that needs double checking. Also, a big deal on Tuesday, the 10th of May, is that Jupiter, the lucky planet, goes into Aries. Jupiter usually stays in each sign of the zodiac for a year. This year it's a bit different. We've got it being in Pisces and now going into Aries. It's only been in Pisces for like 4 or 5 months, and then it retrogrades in and out. So with Jupiter in Aries, the feeling that you get is good luck comes from me taking charge of my life and taking action. I want to get going. I want to move on. And to me, Tuesday, the 10th of May looks really like a warning, or I want to look at this in advance. I'm glad I have, because to me, it seems like the potential to really to get things wrong and to make mistakes. Because if you think about it, this desire to really make progress no matter what the cost, and then you couple that with Mercury retrograde saying, I'm not so interested in all the details and let me just skim that and overlook it. That's a recipe for disaster. That's like saying, okay, I'm waking up on Tuesday morning and I've decided to move to India. Let's just book everything and get out of here and go. It's that kind of like, I'll figure things out as I go. I'll take care of the details. And that sometimes is necessary to take that approach if you're in a crisis or in survival mode into something. But during a Mercury retrograde, that kind of, I'm going to wing it really doesn't work for you, and it tends to catch up. So to me, Tuesday, the 10th of May is a day where certainly I'm going to say, all right, you've got certain things to do here until the 3rd of June. Make sure you do your homework and you prepare, that you don't just make major life-changing decisions based on a whim, and that you do your homework. You get things right if you want to move ahead. Because once you've made the error, right, it's very time consuming to undo it. So prevention is better than cure here, I feel. So the good news is, with the moon being in Virgo and giving you that extra momentum moving into Mercury retrograde, it also makes you a little bit more cautious. So you will have this delayed reaction, because you'll want to make sure that info is correct and accurate and that everything is in place before you take any action. And that's a good thing. With Jupiter urging you to plow on, the reluctance of the Virgo moon is a prompt to learn more before moving ahead. So if you're like, I want to go, 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 but then there's this weird hesitancy or weird reluctance, see that as a red flag. See that as your higher self saying, hang on a moment, there's something extra you can figure out here before you rush off. Wednesday, the 11th of May, we've got the Virgo moon opposing Mars and Neptune in Pisces. So opposition is 180 degrees away from each other, right? So they're in two different camps. So the Virgo moon is saying, analyze and make sense and be cautious. Mars in Pisces is go on a little trip into fantasy land. And Neptune in Pisces says, your intuition is key when it comes to making any decisions. So actually, Mars and Neptune are very helpful to you here. So it's about listening to those red flags and paying attention to them as they appear. The Virgo moon then trines the Sun in Taurus and Pluto in Capricorn. So that's really interesting, because this combo, it's all the earth signs, right? The moon in Virgo, earth, Sun in Taurus, earth, Pluto in Capricorn, earth. There's a great potential to make changes in a practical sense. So your work, your living situation, your environment. And now that there's that area of life has become pliable, or that you can work with it, that's going to kind of, like a truffle pig sussing something out, starting to notice that there are truffles in the area. You're going to be like, there's an opportunity here. And then with Jupiter in Aries, it's like, let me go, go, go. And Mercury in retrograde says, let me go without doing any research. So immediately the day after the Mercury retrograde, you've got your first opportunity to make a big mistake here. That's what I feel. With that said, there is an opportunity to affect genuine change, but make sure that you get all the info in place before you do anything big and life-changing. And then the Virgo moon also quincunxes Saturn in Aquarius. Oh, that's good actually, because now you have respect for information, and the cautiousness of the Virgo moon is coupled nicely with Saturn in Aquarius. The rules, you have to do research before you do anything. That works nicely to keep you from making mistakes. Saturn is somewhat, it's a bit over the top, I feel, which is weird to say about Saturn, because Saturn is so dry and about, this is what works and what doesn't. It's almost like, if I want to do anything, I'm going to have to go to the library and read all these books. I might as well not bother. It's that kind of vibe. It's like, again, I'm fighting an uphill battle here. I might as well just... So that's an ongoing energy that lingers this week. So because of that, Wednesday, the 11th of May, life may seem a bit bleak and difficult. Because of all the earth stuff, you could be very focused on your material situation. Plus, the Saturn in Aquarius overweening energy also makes you focus on the opinions of other people. And that tendency to look at these two things, that means that you feel disempowered because you're giving your power away to other people and your circumstances, and that could drain you of your energy. So the way to use Wednesday, the 11th of May, I feel, is to do simple, nurturing things that you enjoy and that you enjoy specifically. So if you like going to have a nice meal, or if you enjoy a walk in the park, or some sort of fun physical activity, whatever it is that makes you feel good, right? That's going to help you to become more grounded and more solid in yourself, and it gives you your power back. So on Wednesday, I think it's important not to be unduly influenced by things happening externally to you. On Thursday, the 12th of May, we've got the moon going into Libra at 8:34 in the morning. So Libra is an air sign that's about balance, right? So the pressure is off a little bit now. The Libra moon opposes Jupiter and Venus in Aries. So balance, I'm somewhat reserved and trying to maintain things here, versus go, 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 take action no matter what. And it trines Mercury in Gemini. So it gives you greater access to what's going on with you internally. And if you're doing research for your, the good thing about Mercury retrograde, it seems to be going backwards, right? Communication becomes more challenging, and you have to find different ways of getting your point across. So if you're a creative person who's generating content, a writer, an artist, a singer, whatever, musician, a composer, it's this inward period that actually allows you to look within and to pull out amazing new content. So if you've had writer's block or you haven't felt particularly inspired, this is a good time to get the new stories out of yourself. And with Libra, you're able to articulate that beautifully then. So if you always write self-help books, then you may want to try your hand at fiction. Or if you have always produced dance singles, then you may want to compose a ballad, something different. So the energy balances out and the world goes back into full color mode. It doesn't seem as bleak and dark as it did the day before. And by engaging your own imagination and creativity, you can add a lot of color. You may still have a major desire to do something outside of your comfort zone. And that's a positive if it's just for fun. And it doesn't really matter if you do all your research or not. If it's a big life-changing decision, make sure it's well thought out before taking the leap. Then we've got Friday the 13th. Okay, Friday the 13th. And the Libra moon opposes Chiron in Aries. It quincunxes Uranus and the Sun in Taurus and Mars and Neptune in Pisces. Okay, so again, we've got three major focus things going on. We've got relationships, we've got the material part of life, and we've got the intuition and the imagination. And I feel like on Friday the 13th, you may feel like you're spread a bit thin. Because it's like, okay, do I do the self-care? Hang on, someone's calling. I've got to make sure they're happy. And I've said, Happy Mother's Day. By the way, I'm filming this on Sunday, so Happy Mother's Day to everybody. And then at the same time, I've got to take care of my business and my bank balance and stuff. So I think on Friday, keeping it simple is an important thing. The Libra moon then also trines Saturn in Aquarius. So that's a major affinity for institutions and groups of people, and particularly groups of people who you feel have accomplished something and you want to be part of that club. Interesting. So on Friday the 13th, it may be a little bit difficult to focus on one thing. You're spinning a lot of plates here. So what's important to you right now is your relationship to other people, your own living situation, and your spiritual awareness and consciousness. Self-care is likely to be the first thing that goes out the window, particularly if you're more interested in getting into someone's good books, or if you're looking to join some sort of elite group or club or something. Maintaining your connection to your higher self, that's doable through creative endeavors. So whatever you enjoy doing, writing, singing, painting, dancing. And I think that's going to be more productive. Depends. Yeah, so we're adding color back to the world, right? By being creative yourself, that's going to be amazing. The thing that sucked all the color out of life the day before, anyway, was being too focused on the opinions of other people and too worried about your finances. So again, on Friday the 13th, if you continue to say, oh, please love me and let me into your club, I think that can be a little bit depressing. That's what I feel anyway. Ultimately, is that going to pay off for you? If you decide on Friday the 13th to put yourself through that, it's good that I always have a deck of cards on hand. So on Friday, if you're like, I need to join this club no matter what, and it doesn't matter if I'm depressed in the process as long as I get my badge of belonging, is that worthy? Is that worth doing? The Chariot. The Chariot is success and victory and triumph. So if you can stomach that, if you can tolerate that, and if you say, okay, I'm going to make this my focus and try absolutely everything, even if it has a personal cost attached, I'm willing to pay that price to get into this club, then Friday the 13th will allow you to get your foot in the door and then all the way in. But just realize there is a personal cost involved. Saturday the 14th of May, we've got the Libra moon forming a square with Pluto in Capricorn. Okay, so your relationships with other people can now create major changes in your life, both good and bad. The moon enters Scorpio at 12:34 in the afternoon. So your intuition is really heightened and you're in kind of hyper-vigilant mode now. You're really looking around, seeing what's going on. That's also useful in terms of the Mercury retrograde, because if something doesn't feel right, like Mercury retrograde will create this potential to make mistakes, right? The moon in Scorpio now is like the fail-safe mechanism that says, okay, you may not have noticed the error by reading stuff, but your intuition is saying, hang on a moment, read this again because you may have missed something. The Scorpio moon then quincunxes Jupiter in Aries and Mercury in Gemini. So it connects with good luck in Aries, saying move on, and this problematic Mercury in retrograde in Gemini saying you're likely to get the wrong end of the stick. And because it's connecting to both, it again is that fail-safe mechanism to say, if you're getting an inner stop sign, listen to it. Ultimately, I think the biggest and most combustible thing here is Pluto and Libra. Pluto and Capricorn and the moon in Libra, yes. Because the way I think this will manifest is that you may be confronted with an unpleasant truth that really infuriates you. Something that you either don't want to discuss or something that you've pushed aside, it appears in some way, either through a conversation or a letter or a remark that's made in passing, but it really gets on your nerves. So it could be something that you've tried to forget about and you've ignored deliberately. Ultimately, even though this isn't pleasant, it's an opportunity to change. And the best way to deal with it is to, rather than go on the attack and to say, oh, you said that to me, I'm going to take you down now. Instead of that, it's better to look at this as a teachable moment. Why am I so triggered by this? Why am I so enraged by this? And then channeling that anger and that emotional response into something positive on this day. So something positive in the sense of, okay, I'll look at that and maybe I'll make a change around my behavior or certain things, or maybe I was wrong. Put my hand up and say, I'm sorry. Or you can go on the offensive. Learning this on Saturday the 14th here, that I'm going to accept and change rather than go on the defensive or the offensive. That's a good skill to implement on this day, and also a good skill to learn on this day moving forward. So if you find yourself really going after something or someone, then you've missed the message, because it's meant to put the lens on you and to say, how can I change this? So you're taking a lot of responsibility. So, that's, I'm sorry, and all of that stuff is important. Taking accountability, yes, but it's not the most pleasant thing in the world. So if you're having to do that, then be nice to yourself in the process, It's enough to deal with. Okay, then Sunday the 15th of May, this is a really big day, and I think that's why things have been so challenging here this week, because we're building up to this big event, and we've got a lot happening. So the Scorpio moon, first of all, opposes Uranus and the Sun in Taurus. So my feelings and the real world, if they don't match, it's going to create frustration and prompt me to change things. The Scorpio moon then trines Mars and Neptune in Pisces. I feel things deeply, this is right, and it should exist in the real world. And if it doesn't, why is it not existing? What is wrong? What have I done wrong? It's really kind of an energy that scrutinizes you and your performance as such. And if you don't feel like you are where you should be, you could really go after yourself now. It squares, so this is all best done with like kid gloves, you know, like easy does it. The Scorpio moon then squares Saturn in Aquarius, and it quincunxes Venus and Chiron in Aries. So the outside world is of very little interest now, and it's all about what you want to create and your healing and what you think. Venus in Aries conjuncts Chiron in Aries. So the good news is that earlier in the week you were disempowered and you gave your power away to groups of people. Now you are very focused on the self, but I think to almost too much, because it's like you're looking for something to pick at almost. The Sun in Taurus squares Saturn in Aquarius. So again, the outside world can teach you and help you to get more grounded and to be kind to yourself. And it sextiles Neptune in Pisces. I'm in Europe, so the lunar eclipse, the full moon in Scorpio happens the next day in the early hours of the morning. But we've got a lot of water in this chart. We've got a lot of intuition and desire to problem solve emotionally. It's not everyone's favorite thing, okay? So I think that going into this, saying I'm going to take care of myself, this isn't going to be the easiest, lightest day of my life. I do want to grow, but I also don't want to like punch myself in the process. I think taking that approach is important. So I'll go into more detail. I'll make a separate video on the eclipse, but ultimately I feel that it's a spring clean type of energy where you're urged to clean house and you're made aware of what needs to change in your life and what needs to exit via feelings of frustration, anger, or even resentment. And once you accept those negative emotions, then they can be transformed. But if you decide to sweep them under the rug again, they're just going to keep pestering you. So it's like, what's court-ordered therapy on Sunday, the 15th of May, whether you're interested in growing as a human being or not. We do have these kind of days where it's like, oh, okay, thanks, universe, for showing me this. Or it's almost like it's holding up a mirror to you and saying, look. And yeah. All right, so that's what I get for you this week. I hope you have a wonderful time. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on Book Your Reading to order your reading with me. In my personal readings, I use astrology, tarot, and numerology. So to draw up your birth chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. Once I've got that, I've got a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born, your natal chart, and it shows me your life purpose, relationships, travel, strengths and weaknesses, talents, the ego, how it tries to sabotage you, what's coming up in future, best places to live, anything at all really. So if you do have any questions, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please hit subscribe and share the video online. Have an amazing week, and I'll speak to you for the daily tarot readings, the special videos like the video I'll make on the eclipse, and the day and these weekly horoscopes. So have a great time, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best.